morning guys, we're back at it again with another video. Now that I've got all the bracing down in the house here, we can start working on the underground plumbing. So if you remember from when we're pouring the footers, we put some 6-inch sleeves underneath the footers in 2 different places to pick up both of our toilets to send basically those sewer lines out to the septic. And before we poured the concrete and the ICF walls, we've got 2 places where we've got gray water drains going out of the building. So that one right there will pick up the shower in the master bathroom, as well as a sink that's going to be on this wall right here. And then also the tub and sink upstairs for the second floor bathroom. This sleeve right here will be the drain line for the kitchen sink, which will have an interesting 3-way valve there that you guys will see. Also the sink here in the half bath. We've got another sleeve in the mechanical room for the washing machine and any floor drains that we put in here as well. And before we get started, True Work is the official sponsor, officially sponsoring the home build here. So you'll see me wear a lot of their gear pretty well in every single video. I'm wearing some of their gear. One of my favorite things is the T5 work hoodie. So I wear this thing whether it's 105 degrees out or whether it's a nice day where it's like 60 or 70 degrees out. What I really love about this hoodie is that it's very lightweight, so you can wear it while it's really hot out, but the hoodie part of it is really nice so that you don't always have to put on sunscreen, and you've got full coverage on your body so that you're just not getting cooked out there. I got one of them coupon codes. It is HM15, and that'll give you 15% off your first order from them. They got some really nice stuff. Love their pants too. Check them out. A big thanks to John for coming and helping me out for a number of days with this underground plumbing. First thing that we're doing here is locating the position of that sleeve under the footer there so that we can find where it is on the inside. Then we can use a backhoe here and dig out on the outside. Now when we're digging things out by hand on the inside, we're just thinking, I wonder if we can get the tractor inside the house. And it just fit in there perfectly. Digging through that first layer of AB mix is a little tricky. It's a little tough, but once you get down to the sand, then it is much easier. But just to make it a lot easier on our backs and our arms, we just came in and dug it out with the backhoe. I'm always for using machinery wherever it makes sense to do so, if you can save the labor on your body. Now with the plumbing in our house, things are done not standard. We are separating our septic from our gray water lines. That means that the septic line needs to be vented separately from the gray water line. And a lot of this knowledge is actually coming from the plumber that I'm consulting with, who you'll hear more about at the end. But we ran the sewer lines first because those were the deepest, because our sleeves were under the footers, whereas our gray water sleeves were much higher in an elevation sense. Now, the main reason for separating the septic from the gray water and why you want to do it obviously at this stage is because it's a lot easier right now. It'd be pretty well nearly impossible to do it after the slab is poured. But for the amount of gallons of water that we will be harvesting from our gray water sources is thousands of gallons of water per year. So it makes sense, especially since we're living on rainwater, to take as much of that water that we can recycle it and use it to grow trees, which will passively shade the house, which will provide food and adds a lot of natural beauty to our place. So now I'm running the 3-inch pipe up for the toilet and then running a 2-inch pipe over to pick up the septic line for the kitchen sink. Now separating your sink water to gray water and septic is actually not to code. So having that 3-way valve is not to code, but since we are not being inspected, we can do things like this. The reason why we are able to do this is because my wife and I, we had a plant-based diet, so we can send all of our kitchen sink gray water out to our trees. Now, a lot of people are curious about how you run plumbing and electrical in an ICF home. Just take a hot knife and just cut that foam right out. So the foam on the inside is 3 inches, so it fits a 2-inch pipe nice. So any 3-inch pipes that you'd want to go for any toilets or anything like that, you'd want to run those through interior walls, because you can put a 2x6 wall there as opposed to trying to get a 3-inch pipe, which is 3.5 inches in diameter at least, in 3 inches of foam. Now that all the septic and sewer lines are done, we can start working on our gray water lines. Since they're much more shallow, that's why we did them last. Running all these drain lines was actually quite therapeutic. I really enjoyed doing it, making sure the pitch is right and just taking your time and doing things right. One other detail that some of you guys will notice is that we're attaching clevis hangers to all these drain pipes. And the reason why we're doing that is because those pipes with the clevis hangers are going to have some threaded rod on top, and we will tie those into the slab above. So if there's any settling underneath the ground of the house at all, our drain pipes are still going to remain in place where they need to be. Even when it's raining out, which it apparently never does in Arizona, according to certain people, you still got to get out and do this, because this is Sunday and the guys are starting work on the concrete form on Monday. Now I'm running some PVC conduit under the ground here to pick up basically the oven, the cooktop, and any outlets in the island. So I didn't have better shots of showing how this underground work was done. I feel like an amateur. I'm recording this going with the wrong orientation, but that'll give you some more detail on how we did the plumbing for this. All right, guys, so those last video clips where it was raining and I was just finishing up the plumbing and the electrical, that was yesterday, Sunday. So we've already got Brad back out here who did the footers, and he will be doing all the form work and all the prep work to do our slab. The guys put in a full day of work of getting all the trenches going around filled in, and then they're recompacting everything as well. So we've got our shower drain right there. We've got our toilet. We've got our sink drain right there. We've got our 2-inch stack, which is gonna pick up the gray water for the tub and the shower, or the sink upstairs. And then we've got the 3-inch stack to pick up the toilet upstairs, and the 2-inch vent that is for sewer. And then in the half bath, we've got the toilet right there, we've got the sink, and then we've got the vent for the sewer going right up. And then for the kitchen sink, this goes down to septic, and then this goes out to gray water going right out there. In the mechanical room, we've got our pipe for the washing machine, we've got a floor drain in the middle, and then a condensate drain on the side there for the AC unit and for the water heater. So you might be asking yourself, Derek, how do you know how to do plumbing? The short answer is, I do not. The long answer is I've been getting consulting from a gentleman in New York who's been helping me with the plumbing and the HVAC design. Right before we were starting to pour the footers, I still didn't have a plumber lined up to help me. I contacted 2 plumbers locally and got 0 response back. So I'm like, well, I got to find another solution here to get the plumbing done. I followed Jimmy DeResta on Instagram, and a gentleman by the name of Mo from Mo's Plumbing and Heating. His website is turnupthecomfort.com, and he helped Jimmy with his in-floor heat and his brand new beautiful barn / learning center, Makerville, Maker Camp, whatever you want to call it. Pretty impressive building he's got there. And Mo was the one that designed and installed the in-floor heat for that building. So he mentioned Mo in his Instagram stories. I checked out Mo's Instagram page and his website, and I was like, well, this guy does not only plumbing, but also HVAC design as well, both of which I need help with. So we've been going back and forth and consulting and getting everything laid out exactly how we want. So if you're a DIYer and you're building yourself a home, or maybe you're building a garage or a shop or something like that, and you need help with the plumbing and HVAC design, get in contact with Mo. He will work with you remotely so that you don't have to hire somebody locally that you can't necessarily rely on to get the job done. Mo, despite his insane workload that he has, he's always been very diligent with getting me everything that I need to get this installed, and he was able to guide me through the entire plumbing process over the last 3 or 4 days now, and getting it all done. I just sent him videos and photos of what I was doing, and he gave me the okay that I was doing a good job. You can check him out on Instagram. All his contact information is below, and he's a top-notch guy. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Brad and his crew got a hell of a lot done today, and we're pretty close to being able to pour the concrete slab. We're going to be using Helix in the slab, just like we did for the ICF walls. So you'll see how that works, which it's not that complicated. It just basically means we don't have to put any rebar down, which is always really nice. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. Talk to you soon.